Hey everyone, thanks for checking back in. Now we're in for round two, trying to get this tranny back together. I've been looking at my book, I've been watching videos, and I think I know what I'm doing. So let's get into it. Down here, the one on top, not hard to, that's easy to deal with. The one down the side is kind of tough, unless you have a lathe, which I do. This is when a lathe comes in handy. I didn't say it's a good lathe, I said it's a lathe. So I found a piece of steel stock here. This is the old bushing. You'll trim that down so it fits. I think that's just about it. One goes way down inside there. Way down there. One quarter inch. Almost. Okay, now that I got all the bushings changed out, best way to put these two halves back together is put it back in the pump case, upside down. Pump's right there, gears are good. Line it all up. This really only goes together one way. The holes won't line up otherwise. They got the spring cage back in here, the piston. New steel's on the piston, and put that in. I won't lie to you, these bushings are bare. And this torques down to 15 to 17 pounds. There we go. Okay, now this section, this is what they call direct clutch. These are all the clutches that are in it. Little pressure plate. It's got a little bit of a hot spot there. I'll take a little bit of sandpaper, I can clean that up. These other ones, this is the clutch disc. And see these little lines are supposed to be, I don't know if you can see that or not. These grooves, just like any clutch, it's got little grooves so cooling can go through it. And these are all almost completely worn through. Then we got hot spots here on this one. This one's completely worn through. Not down the metal, but not far from it. So these are all junk. On the back of it, take a screwdriver, take this little clip out of here. And that plate there, and this is a sprag. They call it a sprag. It's a one-way clutch. All you're doing is making sure it's okay. It's got a little bit of witness mark for wear, but there's no grooves. This is the sprag assembly here. It'll only come off one way. You got to turn it to get it off. And nothing's broken, nothing's scored. Yes, you can upgrade to better ones. No, I'm not going to. And we can put this little guy right back on. Like I say, it only turns one way. Maybe that has to be on there first. A little tricky to get to go together. You got to do it just right. Come on now. There it is. And it turns that way. It won't turn the other way. It turns that way. I think that if you take it off, just so you're not messing, so when you're working on it, you're not damaging it. See, that one flew out of there. Where'd it come from? Came from that one right there. And you can just put them right back in. Like that. Put that back in that. And that sets aside. That goes down just like that. Okay. Now the clutch discs here, now you got to compress this spring. And there's a bushing in here that needs to be changed. There's no, just the one. Okay, so my handy dandy little puller I made here. I don't like the C-clamp idea. I made this when I did the last transmission. That looks like a scenario there. And you want to do this, position it so you can get to the open end of the snap ring. one's much easier. There are little stops on this washer that the snap ring clips onto, so it can't pop out without the springs being compressed. Don't go crazy now. You stay there. Very much like the pump, same basic deal. Snap ring, springs, there's the piston. Wow, that's that's really sloppy in there. Now this is a piston that both pushes on and pushes off. So the piston itself has seals here and here, and the pressure is pushing on it. This lip has to be like that so we can catch it. Push on it to push it away. And when it releases, there's another seal in here that releases it. So here, all we're going to do is change out this one. Like I say, I'm not teaching you how to rebuild transmissions. I'm just showing you how I fumble through it. I've got a book right here I'm reading. I'll show you what book it is here in a minute. Okay, that seal goes up. We've got a box of all kinds of parts and pieces. A little small. No, that's got to be it. And what it should be doing while I'm doing this, I should be gooping this up all the way around. Less chance of tearing it, snagging it. Use an awl here, it's because it's round. You kind of run around the outside. It pops right on. Kinda. Alright, work it a little bit, get it in there. If I was smart, I would have knocked that bushing out first. So, let's do that now. Let's find the right bushing. That it? That's a lot smaller. I mean, that appears to be the right bushing. Okay, got that. I got the outer ring on there. I'll put the inner ring on. Inner seal, rather. These aren't that bad. They're a little stiff. I'll lube the whole thing up. And again, you got to make sure there's seals are facing the right direction. There we go. Now the trick here is to get this one in. This is regular automatic transmission lube. Now, because it's got a little lip on it, it's hard to get it started. So you can run a 10,000th feeler gauge around it carefully. To push that little lip down. This is the nerve-wracking part here. Here I can do an air test of the clutch to make sure it's working. Watch right in here. That piece right there should... Which one is it? There it is. That one's working. And this one here. They're working. Once again, you go in the kitchen and you borrow a cookie sheet. And you gotta soak these. In transmission fluid. It's okay, she won't mind. Then you stack your washers in. You start with a wavy plate, with a regular plate. A clutch. Another plate. Another clutch. big ring. That. Where's my snap ring? And then you put your snap ring in. Then you measure how much clearance you have. Okay, and it says here, factory says you need to be 15 to 95 thousandths clearance. So, where was I? There's a 20, that's a 25 and 23. Oh, that'll fit, but it's tight. No way I'm going to get 95 in there. 25 and 27, so they're 52. That's real tight. Too tight. So I'm at about 50, which is fine, perfect. So, do yourself a favor and kind of line up these little dogs in here, make it easier to align, to put it together when you're stacking it. And I put the sprig back on. There it is. There it is. And they're supposed to sound like that. That way it turns, this way it doesn't. Okay, that's the intermediate drum. That's done. Next. Same thing, only different. This one's got a bearing here. This is, you got to make sure you put this in the right way. If you're paying attention, it can really only go in one way. As long as it feels good. Nice and smooth. Good to go. That's not a problem. And we got our clutches in here. It's really nice to have a hole in the table. Clutches come out of these real easy. Then again, same thing. There's your piston, there's your springs. This one you pretty much have to use the C-clamps on. There's your clutch plate. Looks good. A lot of heat in here, like the rest of them. Usually the first one will be the one that's all burnt up. First one or the last one, whatever you want to call it. You see those? See the difference in them? This one's got grooves. This one's worn all the way down to nothing. It's supposed to have the oiling grooves in it all the way along, but it don't. And this one's got a wavy in it. If you can see that. Probably can't see it, but it's actually rippled. It's supposed to be that way. Okay, what we got here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 plates, 5 clutches. So I got a piece of wood, drilled a hole in it. Bam! I got to get a couple of clamps. Come on now. Get around over here, I can work on it. Just like that, it's off. Same thing, only different. More springs. Snap ring. Oh, is that loose? Compared. And these are facing down. It's the same thing. He's got another one in the center. Or does it? No, it doesn't have one in the center. It only applies in one direction. So this one's a whole lot easier. Goop it up again. I think once you get in the swing of things, you can knock these out pretty quick. Sure helped to have the right tools. Let me go around the feeler gauge thing again. A smaller feeler gauge. Now it's 20. Say 12. Maybe 12 is a magic number, huh? Bam, just like that. And there it goes. Okay, now back with our springs. And our kind of scary C-clamp arrangement. You gotta be careful when you're doing this that the top plate doesn't get hooked in the space for the snap ring. It'll do it to you. It'll do it. Come on. I don't think I've done quite far enough yet. There it is. There we go. There's another one. Then we go with our wavy plate. Steel. Friction disc. Steel. Friction. Steel. Friction. Steel. Friction. Friction? Okay, something's wrong. There's what's going on. I put two steels in right next to each other. They're new and they'd be sticking. Okay, let's start over. Wavy. Steel. Friction. Notice they're stuck together. There it is. Steel. Friction. Steel. Friction. Steel. Friction. Steel. Friction. That looks pretty good. This is the little pressure plate. This is some 800 here. Got some couple of hot spots. Not bad, just little guys. Gonna make sure there's no old friction material left on it. Bam, just like that. There it is. $26 and $24. That's all like 60. Not gonna fit. There's a 20 and 22. Ah, that fits. Yeah. We'll probably get a couple of 22s in there, but I think that's pretty good. That gives us about the same as the other side, and I think that's what we want. Okay, now I mic'd the bushing, and it's within tolerance. It only has 2 thousandths. You're allowed 8. So that's good to go. So, goop it up. Go for it. This tab has to index into a slot in the case. Now we put the piston springs back on. Back down inside there. And we have to use that compressor tool. This is the spring compressor tool I made out of some bed frame. So I got it notched. Let me show you here. So I got notches in it here that catch in there, and on both sides, preferably straight across, to at a right angle. And the other piece here I'll show you when I pull it out. But it's real simple to make. Okay, this is the spring compressor I made. This just has some bed frame angle. Got some notches in the sides here to fit. You can look it up online to get the sizes of this. This pushes down the spring. This, oh, yep. That's got a nut on there. That goes on there. These notches here locate into the where this big snap ring goes. You tighten that nut up. You reach down in there. You tighten that nut up, and that pushes the spring down so you can get that C-clip on. Nothing to it. Now that's what it looks like when it's compressed down in there. If you can see. The snap ring all the way down here. Barely see it. You can barely see it. Right there. You got to compress those springs down quite a ways. There's a lot of ways you can get hung up too. So it's a little touchy, but it's doable. And there you can see the snap rings in place right there. In all honesty, with my makeshift little clamp here, it probably took me 20 minutes because it kept slipping and getting skewed, and you want to make sure it's right. Because if it pops off, it's all going to come back right out in your face. So be careful. Okay, now something I did not do, it's probably going to bite me in the butt later, is I did not check the end play in the transmission before I tore it apart. That's one first thing you're supposed to do, and I didn't do it. So I may end up tearing the whole thing back down again, because here's where you put in shims. This is your output shaft, and this is the bearing that goes behind it. And this here is a spacer shim that's been put in by the last builder. So right now I'm just hoping it's going to be within tolerance. That goes in here like that. Or you can take it and put it in there. And set that piece in. Okay, now you put in your low reverse clutches and steels, starting with a steel. Really only fits in one way. Steel. I mean, you can put them in wrong, but I think. I'm not really sure. Go on. Like that. Okay, now, so to put a big gob of grease on the anti-clunk spring, and it goes That goes right there. Like that. This like that. This is regular transmission lube, assembly lube, so it's cool. Okay, now let's see, low reverse roller clutch. I don't know what they call it. It only goes one direction. And this has got to go like that, I do believe. And it pushes down in. Just like that. Then you put your snap ring in. Everything kind of revolves around that anti-clunk, a little notch for it. If I can get out, there it is. So next is that bushing goes in and indexes. Just like that. I put some grease in there. Then the sun shell goes in. I lubed it all up, so everything should be happy. It should be there. There. Spin nice and free. Nice and snug. Okay, now planetary goes in. I'll put some oil in that bearing in there. There's a bearing in there that rides on top of there. That goes there. Just a little bit. There it is. That's on. Now we got another bearing here, or bushing rather. This is there on top. Fits in there real nice. Then the top of the planetary gear goes on. There it is. Then your bushing. Gotta remember to grease everything up as I'm going. That goes there. Now, the little snap ring on. That's the one that's the son of a gun to get on and off. So, now I got that bushing in there. Now I can install the forward clutches. The way I do this is like this. There it is. On the bench. And then put both of them in one shot. It feels like it's in. Yep. You hear it hitting metal. Yep, that's good. Then we drop our band in. You got two different ends. See, the servo pushes on that one. That's this port down here. Pushes on it. See, that pushes on it like that. And this side locks into the case. You put it in there and look at it, you can see it makes sense. It goes like that. Then the next is the intermediate clutch. Got the band in there, put the intermediate clutch in. And this plate goes down and bottoms out against the case. And it only really fits in here in one way. Where are you? No. Here it is. Yeah, and it's friction disc. Here's the frictions. There you go. We're getting close now, baby. There we go. And the wavy. The one I thought was cracked. It's not cracked. It's supposed to be that way. Now for the pump. I got the gasket. Make sure everything's nice and clean. Let's see. This really only goes one way. That looks happy. Put a little bit of lube on here just to kind of hold the gasket in place. Lube everything up. Okay, if you missed that, and you know you did, I took two 5/16 by, I don't know, 2.5, 3-inch bolts, cut the heads off, put them in here as guide pins, left the gasket off the pump, and dropped the pump down. Now I'm going to snug the pump up and check the end play. Here. See what we got. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. Might be too close. So end play is supposed to be 10 to 45 thousandths. At least from the book, what the book I'm reading says. So I got to zero it out there. And here come all the way up and top out. So that's about 30. So that's good. 33, 34, something like that. That's all I can get out of it. If I really force it, I can get 40, 35. So I'm good. I don't have to pull it back apart again. That's a pleasant surprise. I thought for sure I would have to tear it apart. Then you got to go all the way down to the bottom and figure out what shim you need and put it all back together again. So now I can pull the pump back out, put the sealing ring in it, and bolt it down and be done with it. Now to make your, let's see. One pan gasket, just like that. No glue, just snug it up. Snug. What? I can hear you screaming. Put the filter on! Got it. Well, this is the clamp I used. As you can see, it's nothing special. Just made out of some bed frame, actually. This is my transmission holder that I made. And just stuck a piece of 2-inch pipe on it so I can stick it in the engine stand. Comes in handy. Now this kit I got gave me, I think these are Teflon washers. And this accumulator, it's either accumulator or a servo, I'm not sure what difference. One accumulates and one servos, I guess. But this had cast iron rings on it. They got little hooks that actually hook together. So these Teflon ones fit, but they're kind of a hassle to get on. You gotta just kind of keep working at them. Keep kind of stretching them until they get on there. Oh, there you go. Then when they do get on there, make sure they're on there straight. There we go. No, I got that all cleaned up inside. pretty well anyway. Let's give her some goop. Lots of goop. Buku goop. Gonna fit. Get a little persuader here. There it goes. There it goes. Now it's in there and spinning. Put the spring in. Like I said earlier, if you want the shift really hard, take the spring out also. But if it doesn't shift good enough for me, I can always take that spring out without dropping the pan. That's real easy. All I gotta do is pull this little cover. Put it right in there like that. It fits in that groove. This one's a bit of a bear. What isn't? Everything's a bit of a bear. You got to push that in, then get this clip in. Where's my big screwdriver in case I got to do battle with it? That'll work. Okay, O-rings in there. That gets a spring. It goes that way. Come on. Watch a guy on YouTube do it. Boy, it made it look easy. There it goes. Yeah, I know my hand's in the way. Get that clip in there at the same time. Hey, that wasn't too bad. That worked. Just like that. I got to get I think I have one somewhere. I have to find it. A piece of kickdown linkage, so I can. There are kickdown cable rather. I'm sorry. So I can cut the end of it off and goop it on there and bolt it on and be done with it. There's that. Then we have the yeah, this thing. The spin around when you go fast thing. Where'd it get? Governor. Ah, governor. There's our governor. Seems to be free. Yep, sure seems to be free. Okay. Oh, good. Little looby lube. There it is. This bigger O-ring goes around this cover. That's still got one on. It's a square gasket, is that right? I guess so. That's all there is to it. Should have just a little bit of play. Might have 20 thousandths. I think that's fine. We got a little clip, pin, what do you want to call it? No, it goes that way. There. Yep. There we go. And we got a modulator valve. That's all the modulator valve is. There's not much. I'll run a little bit of car cleaner through it. Clean her up. A little compressed air. Push on it. The net goes in. You know what? Why don't I? It'll only go in one way because one end's bigger than the others. There it is. And we'll get our new modulator valve. This is the one with the red stripe. Everybody says, "Oh yeah, I got it. I always upgrade to the red stripe." Nobody sells anything but the red stripe. Because it's got a screw right there where you can dial your shifts up or down, whatever you want to do. Like that. There's my little bracket. There's my little bolt. This time I'm going to put the bracket on correctly instead of backwards like it was. And that's it. And that's it. Snug this puppy down. Give it a little air hose for the vacuum. I think they gave you, yeah, they gave me one gasket for here. Took the transfer case up, but I don't want to put that on yet. I'll do that after I stab it. I guess I could throw the torque converter in it, huh? Make sure it turns. It's not a bad idea. I just grabbed a rebuilt torque converter. I don't need anything fancy. 4-wheel drive. I'm not going to be racing. Just going to be looking around the winter. I might put a plow on this thing. Who knows? There it is. Do the dance. Sprint's free. Looks good. I'm done. Next, not tonight. Next, I'm gonna stab this thing, put it in the truck, put the transfer case in, get that all bolted up. Because I hate to say it, but I gotta finish the murder van so I can get rid of it. That's another transmission. Not excited about that, but gotta do what I gotta do. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it. Comment, subscribe, do a dance, have a milkshake, or a cool snack. Thanks for watching. Take care.